Please sign in and state your name.
Just for the record, I think the last time I checked, we were down 1-0 in the last.
Go shave your beard.
Believe me, I want it off more than you do. This is the ugly, uncomfortable phase, as if it goes through anything that's not ugly, but at least it becomes less uncomfortable. For the record, my name is John Yakim, and I do live in Monroeville. Deputy Mayor Gresock, members of council, Mr. Manager Little, and Solicitor Dice, good evening to all of you. Mr. Deputy Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to address you in council this evening. After this council was elected, we were told to expect better things. The first thing this council did was fire Manager McKinney for a bunch of trumped-up charges. The next thing council did was develop a budget with the second enormous tax increase in 2 years. Our taxes went from 1.8 mils to 4.0 mils. This is more than double. Even with these two enormous increases, our police department is at its lowest manpower in decades. Even with these enormous increases, our schools will be made less safe by the proposed removal of the school resource officer. We were told that the increases were necessary and that future spending would be responsible. Then we find out that all the non-union employees and department heads were given huge raises. This was after the public was told that there were no more places to cut. This was after the mayor vetoed a police contract that held the line on police salaries, and this was after the members of this council failed to override the mayor's veto. And within those huge raises, we find that the spouse of a sitting member of council received one of the largest raises, nearly 13%. This certainly raises eyebrows. Would you not agree, Deputy Mayor? Not going to answer?
Public comment.
Okay. So to recap the first months, we have unelected members of council meeting with elected members to trump up charges to fire a municipal manager. We have council hiring investigators behind closed doors. We have public officials lying about the circumstances of that hiring. We have council members possibly receiving gifts of gold badges and ringside boxing seats. We have other council members telling us that how they receive gifts are none of the public's business. We have one member of council telling us that their decisions are made behind closed doors and that we should go to the park instead of showing an interest in our local government.
That's not what I said.
I'm sorry?
That's not how I said that. I
Oh,
said
I'm
I
sorry.
would rather you get your entertainment by taking your family to the park.
Okay.
But please come up here and speak with us at any time.
Well, thank you for that. We have a council member earning significant profits from the municipal health insurance, and now we have a council member's spouse receiving nearly a 13% raise. I thought the people that elected all of you did so expecting more. Would you please comment on this, Deputy Mayor Gresock?
It's public comment, not public debate.
Okay. Mr. Deputy Mayor, last month, Councilman Harvey made a point of addressing the Attorney General's audit investigation. He said that the audit by the AG was wrong. This dovetails with the accusations by members of council and the mayor that the daily investigation was inappropriate. I have a copy of a letter from Mr. Charba of the Attorney General's office that was never published in the paper and therefore not seen by most residents. The second line of his letter states, and I quote, "First, let me assure you that a complete investigation was conducted pursuant to the authority given to the Office of the Attorney General by the Criminal History Records Information Act, or CRIA." He also goes on to say, in this unpublished letter, that he hopes that the corrective action taken by Monroeville will not be reversed. It appears to me that a great deal of the corrective action has been reversed. Would you agree, Deputy Mayor Gresock?
Continue with your comments.
Within the daily report, the various people interviewed all seem to have had similar things to say. From page 20 of the daily report, I quote, "He saw that the CAD entry regarding the rape was displayed on the computer terminal." From page 25, and I quote, "They would hit the appropriate computer keys and it would bring up a list of closed calls, including fire, EMS, and police." From page 26, and again I quote, "He learned that anyone who logged into the Alert TS system using the fire company's generic ID and password could review the police calls as well as fire and EMS calls." And finally, from page 27, and again I quote, said that the police calls could not be viewed when the calls were active, but they could be viewed on the fire company computer once the police calls were closed. These quotes are from 4 different people, 4 different municipal employees. There appears to be a pattern here. The pattern is that people who should not have had access were accessing police call information. I am not a police officer, but if I was on a jury, I would be left to believe that if the daily report was inappropriate or wrong, as some have suggested, either all 4 of these employees are lying, or the person who wrote the report is lying. Deputy Mayor Gresock, do you think Mr. Daly was lying in his report?
Continue with your comments.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, will you please answer my simple questions?
This is public comment.
You and others on this council have ordered a new investigation, predicated on the assumption that there were flaws or questions in the daily report. Why will you not comment on your vote?
This part of the meeting is for public comment, not for public debate.
May I make a comment, please?
I'm addressing the Deputy Mayor.
Okay.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, several of your colleagues, as well as the mayor and others, have said there are questions into the daily investigation. So I ask, what kinds of questions do you have?
I don't believe I need to repeat myself on what I stated about what portion of the meeting we are in right now.
Was Mr. Daly lying, or were the interviewed employees lying? You do address and you do interact with the other members of other residents in this town. And so
I have not.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Deputy Mayor, is this the kind of information that you think led to Councilman Harvey suggesting that the Attorney General Office's letter was wrong?
This is public comment.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, was former Chief Pasquarella wrong to shut down this system?
This is public comment still, John. It hasn't changed since I mentioned it the last time.
I have a bunch of questions, Mr. Gresock.
Could we
I'm gonna
perhaps
keep
save
asking
some
them.
time and just note for the record, Sharon, that this is for public comment, not for public debate?
Was Manager McKinney wrong for taking corrective action regarding those involved?
You can continue to ask your questions.
It appears that the actions of Pasquarella and McKinney were appropriate and warranted, and you and others voted to fire her. Why will you not comment?
This portion of the meeting is for public comment.
Why will you not discuss your vote with the residents?
Continue.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, members of council, and to the mayor, who I am sure will be seeing these comments, it is extremely frustrating when the public's questions go unanswered. It leads many, including myself, to ask, what else are you hiding? You gonna answer my question?
I thought you were finished with your comments.
That's my question, last question.
Are you finished with your comments?
Yes.
Is my question. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Any other comments?